Hey YouTube, it's Lupe, and my dog here wants to join us for this video. It's Jorge, but I had said in my last video that I wanted to discuss more, specifically feelings where I'd had towards being trans, as well as a video discussing feelings about being a butch lesbian, and where I identify and such more specifically. So in this video, I want to discuss the trans identity more for me, and what that kind of means for me, and how I feel about it. So I mean, watching this, you might sit there and think like, oh, you're totally a man, like you need to transition. And I've definitely, when I've discussed some of these with a couple people in the past, like they've said like, yeah, but I think when you see my video about the whole butch lesbian thing next, it might show some insight as to why I'm questioning. So I guess to start, so like I said, I do currently identify as a butch lesbian, and I do that mostly, I feel like, out of convenience. Like I said in my last video, I don't bind or anything currently, so it makes it easier in public situations, to avoid just having to deal with questions and stuff, especially since I'm personally questioning to just identify as a lesbian and a butch lesbian, although I don't entirely feel like I fit there, but we already know that. So things that really do make me question, personally for myself, I guess we can just start with, things that everyone kind of experiences, dysphoria with their body and such. I know I'd explained that I don't experience it as much as most people may experience it, and my reasoning for that is it's not like I consistently every day 24/7 like I'm thinking about the fact that I've got breasts and I have a vagina, and I'm not as bulky as I might like to be and such. Like there's definitely periods in my life where I've been really happy about my body and really proud of my body. When I was younger and stuff and in high school, I was a swimmer, and I was in definitely the best shape of my life. I weighed like 165 pounds, and I was nothing but muscle. I'm 5'9", if anyone was wondering, so 165 is not crazy, but it is a little heavier than for a female of my frame. I had abs and everything and stuff. I wish I had that body again, so I think some of my dysphoria might be just kind of related to that. I think that with my feelings of just being a more masculine individual, having that body again, might relieve some of that. And maybe I'm not looking necessarily to just transition and get rid of my breasts and stuff. Like maybe what I'm looking for is just a more masculinized body. It's what I used to have. It's what I want again. Unfortunately, when I had joined the military, I had gotten a really bad shoulder injury, and I wasn't able to work out and stuff like I used to. I still really can't. I have a limited range of motion, and it's just not as strong as it used to be. So it's really hard for me to kind of build up that muscle and stuff. It's been 5 years since I got out, so I definitely been able to work out more now. I've started working out a little bit more recently, because I feel like maybe if I just kind of bulk out a little bit, put a little bit more weight on. I'm only at like 130 pounds now. I don't want to be 165 again if I'm, in this frame. I don't think that I quite want to be that big in the shoulders. But I feel like maybe if I transitioned, I'd want to be, larger, but I like being pretty thin and lean, so it's kind of nice, but I definitely am, I'm thin and lean, and I'm really thin for for someone who might be a cis male. For most people, that would be cis males. But so I mean, I started working out again a little bit. I've got a little bit, kind of just coming it. I mean, I used to have bigger muscles. I'm not on testosterone or anything, so I'm not gonna be huge. But I definitely want to feel more comfortable in my body, and I think a lot of that has to do with my muscle structure and stuff. Being female, it does make it a lot more difficult to have the type of structure that I would want. So you know, I definitely think like there's some issues there, but yeah, when I go through periods where dysphoria is bad, you know, like there's times where I will wake up and I'll take a shower and I'll look in the mirror when I get out and I'm like, why the fuck do I have boobs? Like those don't belong there. It just looks weird. It seems weird. I don't really want them, you know. And then there's other days where I wake up and I look in the mirror and I've been doing well. Like I've been working out and I've been eating healthy and my body just looks a little bit healthier and feels a little bit healthier and I'm not as concerned about the fact that I have breasts. However, even when I feel that way, when I get dressed and stuff and I go out in public, I still want my boobs to look smaller, as small as possible, or even just not even there. Then, you know, from that kind of situation, like, it really affects me with my anxiety and stuff like that in social situations and just in public and stuff because I'm just not as comfortable and I want to try and hide my breasts, but I'm still kind of identifying as female. You know, I still use the women's restroom and such. Like, it can make things really uncomfortable. And I've always been someone who, like, I kind of liked making people feel uncomfortable before when I would have like encounters and stuff in the bathrooms, just because I had this feeling that was just like, well, if you're going to, you know, point something out and make me feel uncomfortable, then I'm going to do the same, like, to you. And, you know, like, I've said things like, what, never seen a dyke before, and stuff like that, you know, and just like snark comments and stuff. But I mean, truth be told, it is really kind of uncomfortable for me to go to the restroom. If I can avoid just going to the bathroom anywhere, I do so, or I hope that it's like just a gender-neutral bathroom, like they only have one bathroom, and it doesn't matter, or I hope that there's nobody in there. Like, I'm just tired, I guess, of just getting stared at in bathrooms and stuff like that, and, you know, like, I don't know if that kind of maybe pressures me as well as just saying that, you know, like, I'm just uncomfortable being, you know, masculine as a female, so maybe it's just easier for me to transition. You know, these are questions that I'm working to answer. So yeah, I mean, I would say that there's definitely, you know, some dysphoria there, and it's not as much, as I would think maybe on my breasts and like vagina, like, you know, the feminine organs, as it is just so much kind of just smaller, and then you can actually see my breasts. Whereas, you know, when I was swimming, my breasts looked significantly smaller, and you couldn't really see them. But my shoulders were also a lot broader and such. So I guess where I'm just kind of going. I fucking lost my train of thought, so I apologize. But yeah, so I'm gonna kind of just discuss with you guys like how I feel about dysphoria. I know you never heard a lot about people's dysphoria, and read a lot, I guess, like on Tumblr and stuff, about how people deal with their dysphoria and like their feelings of dysphoria and such. But again, most of it comes from people who have already decided they're gonna transition or are transitioning. Like, I haven't really heard a whole lot as far as the lines of, you know, like, people who are semi-comfortable in their body or whatever. And maybe I'm semi-comfortable about it because, you know, like, I am 25 years old and I've spent a lot of time in this body, and I've spent a lot of time being a more masculine female, and it's just kind of, you know, what's been easiest for me and where I've sat. So but I feel like the older I'm getting, the more uncomfortable it's getting. Like, people just don't accept it as much that I'm 25 years old. It's like, why are you still dressing like a boy? And it's just kind of like, have you never seen like butch lesbians? I don't understand where that comes from, you know. And it just kind of, you know, I feel like it can maybe pressure me to think that what's ideal is transitioning. So beyond dysphoria, I do get anxious about it, but I do think that the anxiety comes from my, discomforts and stuff with certain situations, and it usually has to do with my body. I don't really ever get depressed and stuff like that about it. I mean, I definitely have down days, but as far as that kind of stuff goes, like mentally, I've dealt with depression in the past, but it hasn't been related to like my body image or anything like that. So really have a whole lot of issues there. And then just mentally, I kind of have discussed in my other video was a little bit just kind of like mentally, like what I'm just kind of like the battle that's going on, and I have a really hard time connecting with females. Certain types, like I can't really be friends with feminine girls really. Like I have friends that are really feminine from like high school and stuff, and I just don't really talk to them that often. I don't really talk, like I don't know, it's not like I don't feel like I can just like connect and like be like, let's go have lunch and just really chat about stuff. It's kind of uncomfortable for me. I don't really relate to some butch lesbians just because they are so comfortable being female, the ones that I do know. I've always just, for the most part, I get along really well with straight men, cisgendered straight men, and I tend to relate the best with them, so that definitely kind of affects me. But I've always done like boy sports and stuff. I played baseball. I've always just been surrounded by boys. Get down. Yeah, I guess mentally is where I'm struggling the most with it. And maybe if I can kind of figure out a little bit more what's going on mentally, and I feel more that, like, yes, transitioning is what I want to do and I want to be male, then I feel like maybe I'm going to experience more dysphoria, probably because, at that point, then, yeah, I'm going to want to start identifying that way, and I wouldn't be called that way, so it would be harder for me to pass, now. Although I do pass a lot now, and it does kind of make me happy. Like, I'll get on a bus or something, and if I have a jacket on, like, I get called sir, I get called he. If people can't, if they're not super close to me or anything like that, or I'm not talking to them and they can't really hear my voice, then it's not really a thing. Like, I don't have an issue. I let people do that. I don't really always correct people, like, I'm a girl, because it doesn't bother me. Like, I have no issues with you using male pronouns. In fact, I kind of prefer them in some settings. But, so that's kind of me and where I'm at, and, like, my dysphoria kind of situation, that kind of stuff. So the trans kind of side of things, and obviously, I can answer more questions and stuff, if I come up with things or think of other things. I'll let you know, and I'll definitely make a video. I'm going to do my next video on, like my takes on being a butch lesbian, how that's affected me. Do I still feel like, whether or not I still feel like I connect with the community or not. I'll discuss all those things in my next video. So thanks for watching. I hope you check out my next one.